Well, the balance of power in Parliament is shifting again as yet another Conservative floor crosser puts the Liberals on the doorstep of a majority. You need 172 seats for a majority in the House of Commons, and with the addition of Michael Maw yesterday, the Liberals have 171. Meaning if everyone votes, the Liberals only need the support of one MP from another party to pass legislation.
Picture this, it is the end of January, Conservative delegates are gathering in Calgary, and they have got one massive question hanging over their heads like a storm cloud over the Rockies. Should Pierre Poilievre stay, or should he go? And here is the twist that makes this absolutely delicious. They are going to decide his fate with a secret ballot. No cameras, no public declarations, just pure, unfiltered judgment from the people who matter most. This is not just party business, this is political theater at its finest, and the stakes could not be higher. Quick favor, if you are loving this, hit that subscribe button and smash the notification bell to keep getting the latest updates on Canadian and UK politics. Cheers if you did. Now back to the show. Let us set the scene properly, because this is not your average party convention. According to the Constitution of the Conservative Party of Canada, after an unsuccessful election, the leader must face a leadership review. It is basically a political report card. Except instead of your parents seeing it, the entire party establishment gets to grade you. And if they do not like what they see, well, you might find yourself updating your CV faster than you can say.
The day before the crossing, the NDP was already taking aim at the Prime Minister for not seeking cooperation in the House.
I look to the Carney government in 2026 to demonstrate that they understand they're in a minority parliament and that they have to work across party lines if they're going to get solutions. They haven't shown
majority government. Now, here is where things get absolutely spicy. This vote is happening behind closed doors with secret ballots, which means delegates can vote their conscience without worrying about public backlash or social media mobs descending on them like seagulls on chips. It is the political equivalent of anonymous feedback, and trust me, that is when people get brutally honest. No theatrics, no posturing, just raw opinion. And for Poilievre, that should be either deeply reassuring or absolutely terrifying, depending on how confident he is in his support. But let us rewind for a second and ask the obvious question: how did we even get here? Pierre Poilievre was supposed to be the chosen one, the populist firebrand who was going to ride a wave of anger and frustration all the way to 24 Sussex Drive. He had the energy, the base, the fundraising numbers, and a message that resonated with millions of Canadians who felt left behind. He was not just leading the Conservatives, he was the Conservatives. His face was on every poster, his voice was in every attack ad, and his brand was the party's brand. And then the election happened. Or rather, did not happen the way he hoped.
Not willingness yet.
Joining me now is Don Davies. He, of course, is the interim leader of the federal NDP. Mr. Davies, good to see you. Thanks for coming in, sir.
Thanks for having me, David.
What do you make of these events of the last 24 hours with yet another defection from the Conservatives to the Liberals, who are now one seat short of a majority government?
Well,
whether it was a narrow loss, a disappointing result, or just not the landslide everyone expected, the outcome was clear: Pierre Poilievre did not deliver the victory the party desperately wanted. And in politics, results matter. You can be charismatic, you can be energizing, you can have all the slogans in the world, but if you do not win, none of it means anything. It is like being a striker who scores brilliant goals in practice but keeps missing penalties in the final. Eventually, the manager starts looking at other options. So now we have got this fascinating moment where Conservative delegates are going to huddle in Calgary and decide whether Poilievre deserves another shot or if it is time to cut their losses and find someone new. And here is the thing: this is not just about Poilievre. This is about the future direction of the entire Conservative movement in Canada. Do they double down on the populist, anti-establishment energy that Poilievre brought?
I want to say I'm surprised, but I'm not surprised in some ways. I'm surprised in the sense that I don't think anybody saw this coming. And of course, putting the Carney government now one seat away from a majority, it really has us all, thinking about the implications of this. But what it speaks to me more fundamentally about is the nature of the.
Or do they pivot towards someone more moderate, someone who can appeal to swing voters in the suburbs and win back those crucial ridings in Ontario and Quebec? Think about it like this. Imagine you have been dating someone for a while, and they keep promising they are going to change, going to be better, going to finally do the thing you have been asking them to do. But every time, it is the same story. At some point, you have got to sit down and ask yourself, is this actually going to work, or am I just wasting my time? That is where the Conservative Party is right now with Poilievre. They gave him the keys, they gave him the platform, they gave him everything he asked for. And now they are asking, did it work? And more importantly, will it work next time? But here is where the plot thickens even further. Secret ballots are notoriously unpredictable. In public, everyone might be saying, oh, Pierre is brilliant, we fully support him, he is doing a marvelous job. But behind that curtain, when nobody is watching, that is when the knives come out. That is when people vote with their gut, not their loyalty. And if enough delegates walk into that booth thinking, you know what, maybe we need a fresh face.
Carney administration so far. I think it's pretty clear, at least to us, that he's governed on the right of center so far. And, you know, he's done things that I think you could take out of any Conservative government's playbook. Slash government services, roll back environmental standards, you know, be aggressive towards organized labor.
Poilievre could be in serious trouble. And let us not pretend there are not alternatives waiting in the wings. The Conservative Party is not exactly short on ambitious politicians who would love to take a crack at the top job. Whether it is someone with more moderate appeal, someone with a different regional base, or just someone who is not Pierre Poilievre, there are options. And if this leadership review goes sideways, you can bet those names are going to start getting floated faster than a trial balloon at a policy convention. Now, does Poilievre survive this? Honestly, it depends. If he has kept his base energized, if he has maintained strong relationships within the party, if delegates believe he is still the best shot at winning next time, then he probably squeaks through. But if there is doubt, if there is frustration, if there is a sense that maybe, just maybe, the party could do better, then this could get very messy very quickly. Because once the doubt creeps in, it is almost impossible to shake. And here is the brutal truth, politics is not about loyalty. It is about winning. Parties tolerate leaders who lose only as long as they believe those leaders can eventually win. The moment that belief evaporates.
Tax cuts on the wealthy, like taking away the tax on luxury yachts and on private planes. So the fact that you've seen now two Poilievre conservatives, feel comfortable enough that they could join a government like that, I think says something about the nature of the Carney government, which is that we really...
So does the support. It is ruthless, it is cold, it is unforgiving, but that is the game. And right now, Pierre Poilievre is playing for his political life. So as those delegates gather in Calgary, casting their secret ballots in quiet rooms away from the cameras, the big question is not just whether Pierre Poilievre should be replaced. The question is whether the Conservative Party believes he can deliver what they need most, victory. Because in the end, that is all that matters. Not charisma, not slogans, not even the size of your crowds. Just wins. And if Poilievre cannot convince his own party that he is the one to deliver them, then this leadership review might not just be a formality. It might be the beginning of the end. Thanks so much for watching. Catch you in the next one.